So whenever I watch a zombie movie or play a game or read a manga about it, all I think about afterwards is how I would survive that situation. Whether it's, getting shelter, barricading, gathering supplies, or, defending yourself. That's all I think about afterwards. But in this case, after watching #Alive, which is an amazing movie, I was more thinking about the why instead of the how. So #Alive is a zombie movie from Korea, and like all the other zombie things from Korea, it's awesome. Like Train to Busan and Kingdom. It's a completely fresh take on the genre, and I absolutely love it because I'm addicted to anything in the zombie genre. The story felt so real and immersive, and the zombies are absolutely horrific. They were really scary. I was in suspense the whole time, just really nervous for the characters, because the characters were really relatable and I liked them, and they just felt human, like people I would know. Which is a lot more than you could expect from writers nowadays, especially in Hollywood. But that's why Koreans do it better. And the thing that makes it so awesome and unique is because it didn't go into the origins of the virus and exact things about the zombies, and it more focused on people and how it affects them. And that's why I loved it, because it can relate to so many different people, even people who aren't interested in the zombie genre as a whole. It was very relevant to our current pandemic situation, because it's a virus and it's causing you to stay at home and be away from your loved ones, and it's causing a lot of death and panic, and it's affecting people mentally, and I'm stuck at home with my family, so I don't really feel the effects of isolation. So it was quite an eye-opener for me to see somebody kind of struggling in that way. But then after the movie ended, I was thinking about it, and I didn't really think isolation was the real crux of the problem. Isolation is an event that happens, and it puts pressure on somebody psychologically. And I think the problem there is really loneliness. And loneliness is a huge issue nowadays for everyone, pretty much, of any age or demographic you can think of. And I was looking at some stats on it, and it's kind of insane. It causes as much deaths as obesity, and it's equivalent, being lonely is equivalent to smoking 15 fags a day, which is just mind-blowing when you think about it. And that's why I thought isolation wasn't the issue. And loneliness is about the quality of your relationships, not how close you are to people. But then I was thinking even deeper than that. Loneliness isn't really going to kill you in a zombie apocalypse. What causes loneliness, and what's the issue in the matter? What's the thing that makes you go, do I even want to survive? And that's when I was kind of looking on Amazon, and Big Brother Bezos was like, hey, I think you should buy this book. And I'm going to do a video on this in the future. I haven't completely read it yet, so I'm looking forward to that. But this book is written by somebody who survived concentration camps, Viktor Frankl. And I think if anybody out there can tell us why would you keep living in certain circumstances that are super stressful and hopeless, I think a concentration camp survivor would be pretty much at the top of that list. And his take on the situation, from what I've read, was pretty similar to Nietzsche's kind of philosophy, where it's about your meaning of life and how much you value your life. It needs to outweigh all the pain and suffering you're experiencing, and give meaning to that as well. And that's the real question. Do you actually have that meaning? You can talk about preparations and what you do and how you'd stock up on food and where you'd hide out and weapons you use, but at the end of the day, is simply being alive really worth all the pain and trauma and suffering and constant stress you'd experience every single day? Personally, my answer is yes. And for those of you who say no, well, there's nothing wrong with that. Maybe that lack of meaning is hurting you in your current life and damaging your chances of being happy. And that's why I wanted to talk about this, and I think this topic is super important, because mental health is a huge issue for everyone nowadays, and especially my age group. And we've got loads of options to deal with avoiding our issues and distract ourselves, instead of looking at the meaning of our lives and what our issues are, and actually taking responsibility to fix them. And the thing is just imagine how amazing your normal life would be if you had such an awesome meaning in life that you'd survive a zombie apocalypse. And that's why I wanted to explore this. Society kind of teaches us that there's really no meaning to life, and that the answer to fill that void really is consumerism. We should spend our lives chasing money and career success and attention from people and materialistic items and all of this stuff. And with social media, it's gotten like a million times worse with distractions and mental health issues and all of that. And the thing is, what do you do when all of it's gone? It's the same with our current situation. Once the distractions have gone away, people have kind of realized the cracks that they've had in their life, and without all these, things to keep them occupied. And personally, I believe that suffering's good for a person. It's their testis, and greatness lies on the other end of it. It's the same with if you're working out. You put your body into stress and it grows to overcome that. It's very similar in your mental state. That's kind of a very religious point of view on suffering. I do believe that a meaning kind of needs to be something intangible and unbreakable, because the common reason would be like friends or family, and what happens if you fall out with them or if you lose them. And Viktor Frankl himself, who wrote the book and survived the Holocaust and concentration camps, he was known for being both hopeful and religious. But wanting to survive is only half of it. Actually succeeding in surviving and thriving after that is a lot of hard work. You need to be able to take responsibility for your own actions as a human being and avoid treating yourself like a victim, and that's a kind of a big ask nowadays. You've got to respect and kind of love yourself enough in order to improve. A bigger part of this is all self-confidence and faith, and a lot of people don't have that. People stop working out after a week because they don't see the physical kind of manifestation, and people stop revising for an exam they have in like a year because they don't believe they're going to pass it. It's just one of those ones, and to me there's a few things that you need to work on in a zombie apocalypse. Obviously there's fitness. It's made fun of in Zombieland where there's a fat guy and it's cardio, but then there's also that kind of mental toughness you gain from working out, and I think that's irreplaceable. The next is knowledge and wisdom. Any piece of information you get could help you survive, and also you need to know how to deal with situations and also people, and life experience is kind of needed there. Or if you read a lot of stories or watch them or experience them and you actually look to take something away from that, you could learn something from there that would help you in real life. And the last one is just morality and critical thinking. Guilt causes huge problems for your mental health, and if you have a more nuanced sense of good and bad, you're more likely to make moral decisions and are able to make those harder ones without thinking that you're a bad person. So we don't really know what's going to happen in 2021. It's been pretty unpredictable recently, but more than likely you're going to have a lot of free time. So make sure you're working on yourself to make yourself a better person. Just live a happier life. You definitely need to watch #Alive. It is amazing. I'd love to hear what you guys think about it after you watch it, and make sure you subscribe because I'm going to be recommending a new story every week.